And of course, we'll be talking to Costa at 10 to 10 today. And welcome, I'm Meredith Curtin, and thanks for joining us for our autumn special. Nell Tyler was a real hit at the Wingham Festival, I believe. I was told that she was delightfully refreshing at the open mic session, so well done. Nell has joined us this morning. You describe yourself as a disability advocate,
yes,
and a musician.
Yes.
How do you manage to combine those two things?
Well, I wrote a lot of music as a teenager. You know, the usual sort of.
I'll turn your mic on.
Thank you. That would help. Now I can hear myself, and everyone else can too. That's something I always need to remember when I'm busking. It helps. Yeah, I wrote a lot of music as a teenager. The usual, you know, writing love songs before you've ever had a boyfriend, that kind of thing. And then life changed and went topsy-turvy, and suddenly I was living with, you know, disability, and the illness wasn't so sudden, but suddenly I had very different things to write about. And I started a YouTube channel in about 2020 called Warning Honesty Ahead, talking a lot about disability and chronic illness and mental health. And I wrote my first disability-focused song in that year after living with the NDIS for quite a long time, and I realized I had a lot to say about that topic. And then when I wrote my second disability-focused song, I thought, oh, I don't think this is just a fluke. I think this is actually something that needs to be talked about. There wasn't a lot of catchy disability music, and it was also something where I'd see choirs of people with disabilities singing songs, and they were songs by, you know, regular pop artists, and it was always, you're perfect the way you are, but we're not going to talk about what that way is, because I'm an able-bodied, beautiful, blonde, rich pop star. And I thought, well, where are the songs being written by disabled people for disabled people, so that we can sing about our own bodies and be proud? So yeah, that's really where that came from, of mixing the two.
So your own personal experience has driven your songwriting. Tell us, what's it like living in Wingham on the mid-north coast? How is it being a wheelchair-bound person?
It's pretty tricky. There's a lot about Wingham to love. There's a lot that is charming. There is a lot about the people that is wonderful, but access is not great. I mean, where I live, there are no paths around my area. So with walking the dog, we're either on the grass, which on a rainy day, impossible, or I have to go on the road, which is incredibly dangerous. A lot of shops I cannot get into because they're old, they don't have ramps. A lot of places don't have access in bathrooms. They don't have any wheelchair bathrooms in stores. So if I'm out in Wingham, there's the shopping centre has the bathroom, and the park has a bathroom, and nowhere else, really. So
you've got to really plan your trip.
Exactly. And just a lot of places, people will say, let's go there. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't get in there.
I mean, it's a beautiful old historic town.
Yes.
And wasn't built with you in mind.
Exactly.
Isn't that sad?
But the thing is, sometimes, I mean, even that sort of comment comes up where I go somewhere and they say, I'm sorry, we don't have a wheelchair bathroom because this was built in the 60s. And I'll sort of go, well, it looks like your kitchen was renovated in 2010.
Yeah.
And it looks like your offices were renovated in 2015. It was just my bathroom that was forgotten because I was forgotten. So, it was built a long time ago, but a lot of other things were renovated. So why wasn't this thought of?
Well said. So what are you going to play for us today, and what was the motivation for writing it?
Well, I'm going to start with the NDIS song. I shared this on TikTok a while ago. I shared some other bits and pieces, and then I just threw this out there. I thought, oh, I wonder if people will like this. And it got about 50,000 views and like hundreds of comments. And a lot of people, it resonated with so many people who had been through what I had been through, where you try really hard, you jump through the right hoops as far as you know, and you believe that the system will work, and then it just falls flat and it doesn't. And I did receive some criticism of people saying, well, you're entitled. You sound so entitled. Criticizing the NDIS. Where would you be without the NDIS? It gives you what you need. And my response to a lot of that was just to say, well, it's not entitled to criticize something that is meant to take care of you. How else is it meant to improve? How else is it meant to raise its own standards? And a lot of the time, all I'm doing is holding something to the standard that it professes to hold itself to. And my example to a lot of people was, if you've got a politician who, you know, claims, professes all of these promises and says, when I get into power, I'm going to put all these policies in place. Then they get into power and they don't hold any of those policies into place. Is it entitled to then say, excuse me, when you were on the campaign trail, you made these promises, where are they now? That's not entitled. That's just saying promises were made to me and not kept. And that's how I am about a lot of my criticisms about the NDIS. I've done the research and the system is broken. And all I'm saying is, well, explain to me how it was broken, why it was broken, and how we can improve, because it matters to me. So I'm going to sing the NDIS song.
And I'm going to make sure that your microphones are on.
Yeah, thank you.
So we can all hear it. And can't wait. Thanks, Nell. Ready when you are.
Is that one on?
Yep. All good.
What am I pissed about? Oh, can you guess what makes me scream and shout? It's the NDIS. It starts with good intentions, as is often the way. It helps us folks with pensions so that we don't need to pay for the things that we rely on to survive every day. But if you think that it's free, I've got something to say. If I need a new wheelchair, they study how I sit. If I need a new toilet, then they study how I should. I meet a brand new worker, and they help me to undress. Everyone sees me naked, it's no wonder I'm depressed. What am I pissed about? Oh, can you guess what makes me scream and shout? It's the NDIS. My workers are fantastic, well, most of them at least. This job isn't for everyone, cause care's a tricky beast. They all need to be vetted to make sure they're the right fit. But sometimes that job comes down to me and I'm not trained or paid for it. Can't make my own decisions, they're taken from my hands. It's a great charade of agency and no one understands. The NDIS is meant to be all about control and choice. I wish some of that belonged to me, that'd sure be nice. What am I pissed about? Oh, can you guess what makes me scream and shout? It's the NDIS. It's quite a broken system, that's just the honest truth. It was faded in the way it's made, and there's plenty of proof. It's been underfunded, understaffed, and just badly designed. It might not affect your life, but it sure as hell does mine. Don't think I'm not grateful, don't think I'm not glad. In some ways this whole lifestyle is the best I've ever had. I just get sick of people saying that this thing is free. Technically that's true, it just cost me my dignity. What am I pissed about? Oh, can you guess what makes me scream and shout? It's the NDIS. What am I pissed about? Oh, can you guess what makes me scream and shout? It's the NDIS. NDIS, hey!
That was terrific.
That's my version of a sing-along pub song.
It was very good. I actually heard you play in Kuvnok last year at a little festival, and even just, you know, you getting up and down on the stage and everything. It's not that hard, but it's got to be thoughtful.
Well, it all has to be prepared, because often, even when I played a little market recently, and it's somebody who, like, she's seen me played at markets and fairs before, and I turned up and I said, oh, I'll need to use the bathroom halfway through, and just her face went white, and she went, okay, and she and my partner raced off and started hunting for the bathroom, and she got on the phone to the school where we were playing and calling about a bathroom. She just hadn't even thought about it. And she was like, I know there's a bathroom here, I just need to find where it is, I need to get the key. And often places where we go, we're like, okay, is there a ramp? Oh gosh, I don't know. And like, I'm obviously in a wheelchair, it's not something that I can hide, but we still have to remind people and bring our own ramps everywhere. It's just, I can't be spontaneous.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So what are your hopes and dreams musically?
I That's the thing. I'm not somebody who thinks I'd really, really love to be famous. That sounds like my idea of hell, being followed everywhere and everyone knowing things. Even as it is when I meet people and they're like, oh, I listened to your stuff the other day. I think, oh my goodness, that's strange. That feels strange. But when I released the NDIS song online and even Wheelchair Babe, and the response was people saying, I didn't feel alone anymore. Or with Wheelchair Babe, they said, oh yeah, I'm a wheelchair babe too. I thought, yeah, that's my dream. Yeah. That's my goal, for people with disability to be able to sing a song where they sing the words disability in a positive way, where it's not something where it's okay, this is a negative connotation. It's just, I'm disabled and, not just I'm disabled but I'm still good. It's I'm disabled and I'm amazing. It's you know, no negative connotations, and it's people saying, okay, I'm not the only one who experiences this. It's uplifting. So I think if my music has reach, that would be amazing, just so that I can get that message out of people not feeling so alone.
I think the titles and the lyrics are so quirky and funny and poignant and
yeah,
you know, right.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with lyrics. Yeah. And I think somebody on Facebook, yeah, they just commented a couple of my songs when I released them last year. At the end of the year, I just released song after song every week for 2 months, I think. And somebody just said the lyrics. How do you do this, Nell? And I was like, I just have a lot of fun.
Now you're here on the first day of autumn. We've got a bit of an autumn special. Do you ever find solace in the garden, or?
Kind of. Gardens are tough for me. I used to love like going out in the rain, and now if I do that, my wheels get stuck in the mud and the electronics on my wheelchair go a bit funny. But my mother keeps a wonderful garden, and my cottage is in her backyard, so I do love looking at her garden. So yeah, I really, really do love her garden, and I just love the weather of autumn. My idea of a good autumn is to be able to sit inside with a cup of tea and look outside at a garden. So that's my idea of a wonderful autumn. It's also my birthday in exactly 1 month. So, I mean, exactly 1 week. Baby. 1 week. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm an autumn baby. So that's why it's the best month for everyone.
All right. Well, talking of autumn, we're just going to quickly chat to the weather. And I'm joined by disability advocate and musician Nell Tyler. Nell, okay, so you can't get out in the garden so much yourself anymore, but what do you do to, you know, give you that same sort of sense of relief? Is there a hobby that you love?
I love sewing. I'm a sewer. I've been sewing since probably before I could read and write. I've been making rag dolls since I was very little, and so I have a big collection of rag dolls. We had to put them in a big tub and store them because I had so many. And so, yeah, I've been making rag dolls and teddy bears and things for a long time. Most of my friends, if they have a gift from me and it's a stuffed toy of any kind, they know it's not bought. It's most likely handmade. Any friend of mine who has a kid, they're getting a stuffed toy from me. Soon I'll be hopefully going to markets, not just to sing, but to sell some of my things, because I just make too many. I make too many to keep, so I have to sell them.
Well, it sounds like they're really reusable sort of things as well, made out of recycled things.
Well, yeah, it's like a lot of cotton things. So I like to give like little cotton bears to babies, because then if they get dirty, you can just sponge them off rather than fur. So
yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
What else are you going to play for us?
I have probably my second song that I wrote about disability called "Pretty Disabled." I actually sang this at the Taria Stedford last year. And the piano arrangement was done by Sandra Clark, a local, and she's worked with me on quite a few of my songs. She just really understands where I want to go with it. And so I'll be playing it on guitar today, but it's something where a lot of words that we use, we assume they have negative connotations. If somebody says, I'm disabled, it often means a negative. If somebody says they're overweight or mentally ill, we assume it's a negative. And for me, it's just another piece of the puzzle. And so this song is just about saying all of those things. If you say you're overweight and you say you're pretty, one isn't more negative or positive than the other. They're just pieces of the puzzle. And this is the song that really helped me realize that's where I was meant to be. That's what I was meant to be doing with my music. I'm a big believer in God. I don't believe that God made me sick or made me disabled. And I don't like the saying everything happens for a reason. I think that's toxic and awful. But I do believe that you can find a reason in everything. And this was the song that helped me find the reason in my disability, because I thought, well, if I can write songs like this that are uplifting about disability, then maybe that's why I have a voice in this community that is often voiceless. So that's the song that I'm going to play.
Can't wait to hear it. And this is Nell Tyler with Pretty Disabled. Over to you.
Thank you.
I'm pretty disabled, smart and kind. I'm mentally ill with a marvelous mind. I'm brunette, overweight, funny and wise. My eyesight's no good and I have beautiful eyes. My skin is quite pale, my teeth aren't quite white. I make people laugh and I cry in the night. I'm in a wheelchair, I have excellent hair. It's all what you see and it's all equally me. I'm more than the sum of my various parts. Who needs working legs when you've got a good heart? I sometimes get sad about the things I can't be, but what matters the most is that I'm perfectly me. I'm not always happy, I'm not always bright. I'm often afraid that I'm not doing things right. I try to be brave and I try to be free, but above all I always just strive to be me. You're more than the sum of your various parts. Who cares what they say? You are a work of art. Your mind might feel broken, your heart might feel bruised, but what matters the most is that you're perfectly you. I'm more than the sum of my various parts. Who needs working legs when you've got a good heart? I sometimes get sad about the things I can't be, but what matters the most is that I'm perfectly me. What matters the most is that I'm perfectly me. What matters the most is that I'm perfectly me.
Well, thank God you are. What a delight.
And so is everybody else.
Nell, it's been so nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
It's just been wonderful and I can't wait. People can hear your music. Tell us how.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Nell Tyler, and you can see updates. I'm currently working on recording my music. I'm working with Pluto Inclusive Entertainment to record, and so keep an eye out on that Facebook page. I also have a YouTube channel called Warning Honesty Ahead, so I upload videos about disability, chronic illness, mental health on there, and occasionally video updates of how I'm working on my music there. So yeah, catch me on there.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.